Shedeur Sanders wasn't supposed to slide to the 5th round. Long considered a first-round lock and the second-best quarterback in the 2025 NFL Draft behind Cam Ward, Sanders didn't come off the board until day 3, when the Cleveland Browns finally picked him with the 144th overall pick. The fall shocked analysts, fans, and players alike, creating one of the most surprising draft storylines in recent memory. Enter Cam Newton, the former NFL MVP and Carolina Panthers legend, who didn't hold back when discussing Sanders on his 4th and 1 podcast. Newton delivered a wake-up call that resonated throughout the football community. Lead with work, not clout.
Lead with work, not clout. I'll say it again. Lead with work, not clout. Lead with you're working to be the starting quarterback to a unproven quarterback room.
This wasn't just another hot take from a former player. Newton's message carried weight, a direct challenge to Sanders' approach to the game, his media presence, and his NFL aspirations. The blunt assessment sparked debate across social media platforms and forced fans to reconsider what makes a successful NFL quarterback. When draft analysts compiled their rankings ahead of the 2025 NFL Draft, Shedeur Sanders consistently appeared near the top of their boards. The son of NFL legend Deion "Primetime" Sanders had proven himself on the field, leading the Big 12 in completion rate of 74.0%, passing yards of 4,134, and passing touchdowns at 37 during his final season at Colorado. Yet when draft weekend arrived, something unexpected happened. Teams passed on Sanders in the 1st round, then the 2nd round, then the 3rd and 4th. Names like Tyler Shough, Jalen Milroe, and Dillon Gabriel, quarterbacks rarely mentioned in the same tier as Sanders, heard their names called first. ESPN draft expert Mel Kiper Jr. expressed outrage at the situation, visibly frustrated on the broadcast as Sanders continued to fall. Other analysts appeared similarly stunned, with some suggesting conspiracy theories about league-wide collusion against the Sanders family. The Browns eventually selected Sanders in the 5th round, making him the 144th overall pick, far below his projected draft position. Even more tellingly, Cleveland had already selected quarterback Dillon Gabriel in the 3rd round, 94th overall, suggesting Sanders wasn't even their first choice at the position. The contrast with his former Colorado teammate Travis Hunter couldn't have been more stark. Hunter, selected 2nd overall by the Jacksonville Jaguars, represented everything going right in a draft process, while Sanders experienced everything going wrong. Cam Newton didn't shy away from addressing Sanders' draft slide. On his podcast, Newton focused on a fundamental issue: Sanders' approach to the quarterback position itself.
Not clout. I think he took on the persona of a DB, not a QB. As a DB, you're able to do certain things. You can speak loud and be rambunctious and have that bravado, but as a quarterback, reminder, you are the CEO of that franchise.
This perspective strikes at the heart of Newton's critique. In his view, Sanders had misunderstood the essence of playing quarterback at the professional level. While defensive backs might thrive with flashy personalities and boisterous attitudes, quarterbacks face different expectations. Newton emphasized that quarterbacks are held to a different standard, one where leadership must be earned through discipline and consistent performance, not just social media presence or swagger. It's a standard Sanders would need to meet, especially after his unexpected draft slide revealed the NFL's hesitation about his approach. Newton advised,
Shedeur Sanders, this message is directed to you. Lead with work, not clout. I think he took on the persona of a DB, not a QB. As a DB, you're able to do certain things. You can speak loud and be rambunctious and have that bravado, but as a quarterback, reminder, you are the CEO of that franchise.
The 5-word message encapsulated everything Sanders needed to hear: prioritize substance over style, development over displays, and professionalism over persona. Newton didn't stop at general advice. He introduced a specific framework for quarterback success that he termed the Super Six, the key relationships a franchise quarterback must maintain. The Super Six includes team owner, general manager, head coach, position coach, teammates, fans. According to Newton, These relationships form the foundation of quarterback success. They require trust, mutual respect, and consistent communication. Newton suggested that questions about these relationships, particularly concerns about how Deion Sanders' influence might affect team dynamics, likely contributed to Shedeur's draft slide.
Themselves with it because there's so many things that you have to ask. If we draft you, will it be a circus in the locker room?
Yeah.
If we draft you, will your father be hands-on and dictating to this organization like what you are and what you're not going to do?
Newton asked rhetorically, highlighting the NFL's quiet concerns about selecting Sanders. This question gets to the heart of what teams fear: potential distractions, divided loyalties, and challenges to organizational structure. The Super Six framework provides a roadmap for Sanders moving forward. By understanding and respecting these key relationships, he has an opportunity to rebuild his reputation and demonstrate that he can function as the CEO of an NFL franchise. For the first time in his adult football career, Shedeur Sanders will enter a season without his father as his head coach. This transition represents a significant change, one that Newton highlighted as particularly challenging.
This is the first time in Shedeur's life that as a grown man, he's not being coached by his dad. And that's a lot of impact. Is he deserving of a top 10 pick? Absolutely.
The former MVP recognized how this shift would fundamentally alter Sanders' football experience. The separation from Deion Sanders raises legitimate questions about Shedeur's ability to perform independently. NFL teams clearly harbored concerns about how this relationship might continue to influence the young quarterback's development and decision-making. Newton framed this challenge as an opportunity.
Is this a way where people are feeling like, yo, we want to humble this guy, even having his jersey retired? There's a meme that says Travis Hunter, number 12, and then they had number 2, Deion's son. Those type of things is going to follow you in the locker room. Daddy ain't going to be able to save you, bro.
The comment references the controversial decision to retire Sanders' jersey at Colorado after just one season, a move that generated significant criticism and highlighted the unique treatment afforded to the Sanders family. Newton challenged Sanders to view his draft position as motivation.
Even having his jersey retired. There's a meme that says Travis Hunter, number 12, and then they had number 2, Deion's son. Those type of things is going to follow you in the locker room. Daddy ain't going to be able to save you, bro. So how does he take that on as a challenge to say, people are going to look at me, they're going to critique me for everything. I'm already coming in with this mentality or this aura that I'm larger than life, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
He's earned that because he has performed. But at the end of the day, dog, this is the big leagues.
Yeah.
This is the league.
Beyond his on-field performance, Sanders' personality and behavior received particular scrutiny during the draft process. Newton did not hesitate to address these concerns directly.
Shedeur, like, first off, I got to hold him accountable, right? Travis Hunter is what we would think Shedeur is supposed to be. Travis Hunter is polished like a quarterback. Shedeur has always got this mean mug look on his face, like he always snobbish looking, you know what I'm saying?
This assessment wasn't delivered as a casual observation, but as a substantive critique of Sanders' demeanor.
Shedeur has always got this mean mug look on his face, like he always snobbish looking, you know what I'm saying? I've met Shedeur multiple times where I'm looking at him like, okay. It's just like.
The watch flex reference highlights a specific behavior that generated criticism. Sanders' habit of flashing his diamond-studded watch during games, combined with other behaviors like trolling rival teams with finger waves. These actions created a perception problem that apparently extended into his pre-draft interactions with teams. An anonymous NFL assistant coach delivered particularly harsh criticism. He said, "The worst formal interview I've ever been in my life. He's so entitled. He takes unnecessary sacks. He never plays on time. He has horrible body language. He blames teammates. But the biggest thing is he's not that good." Reports surfaced that NFL teams worried Sanders wasn't focused primarily on football. As NFL Rookie Watch posted, some NFL teams are reportedly concerned that Sanders isn't solely focused on football, but rather his rap career and creating a personality out of himself. One anonymous NFL GM reportedly believes there's red flags to Shedeur's personality between his fiery attitude and the watch flexing. Colin Cowherd suggested these personality concerns directly impacted his draft interviews, noting that Sanders' history of blaming teammates and avoiding accountability had bled into his combine interviews. These red flags clearly influence NFL decision-makers, contributing to Sanders' unexpected slide down draft boards despite his statistical success at Colorado. Newton's critique of Sanders became even more pointed when he contrasted him with former Colorado teammate Travis Hunter, who was selected second overall by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Travis Hunter is what we think Shedeur is supposed to be. Travis Hunter is polished like a quarterback. Despite his harsh critique, Newton didn't write Sanders off. In fact, he expressed optimism about the young quarterback's future, provided he makes the necessary adjustments. Newton offered specific advice. The former MVP even made a bold prediction about Sanders' future. This vote of confidence suggests Newton believes Sanders possesses the talent to succeed in the NFL, despite the concerns about his personality and approach. The key, in Newton's view, is for Sanders to redirect his focus away from his image and toward his development as a professional quarterback.
Now to the NFL draft drama surrounding Shedeur Sanders. Deion Sanders' son was the victim of a prank phone call that led him to believe that he was about to be drafted by the New Orleans Saints. ABC's Lara Spencer has more.
Shedeur Sanders found himself at the center of draft day chaos after a cruel prank, traced back to Jeff Ulbrich's son, sparked outrage and sent shockwaves through the NFL community, culminating in a pointed response from Sanders that has left the Ulbrich family facing significant backlash, and the Falcons organization in damage control mode. The drama started on Friday, April 25th, when Shedeur Sanders, once seen as a possible first-round pick, was still waiting to be drafted on day 2. A video that quickly spread online shows the 23-year-old Colorado quarterback getting a call from someone pretending to be New Orleans Saints GM Mickey Loomis.
Take you with our next pick right here, man.
Yeah, yes, sir. Let's be legendary.
Yeah, but you're going to have to wait a little bit longer, man.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
The prank happened when someone called Sanders and said, "We're going to take you with our next pick, but you have to wait a little longer." Sanders looked confused and asked, "What does that mean?" What should have been a happy moment turned into a cruel trick that made him think he was about to be drafted. On Sunday, April 27th, the Atlanta Falcons said in a statement that 21-year-old Jax Ulbrich, son of Falcons coach Jeff Ulbrich, was behind the prank. They said Jax found Sanders' number on an open iPad at his parents' house and used it later to make the fake call. But wait, there is more. Further details revealed in an Associated Press report clarified that while Jax Ulbrich provided the number, he was sitting beside an unidentified friend who placed the call to Sanders, impersonating the Saints GM. This additional context has only complicated the situation, raising questions about multiple individuals' involvement in the prank. The Falcons attempted to distance Jeff Ulbrich from the incident, stating he was unaware of the data exposure or any facets of the prank and was made aware of the above only after the fact. However, this explanation has done little to quell public outrage, with many questioning how such sensitive information could be so easily accessed in a coach's home. Following intense backlash, Jax Ulbrich issued a public apology via Instagram on Sunday, writing, "On Friday night, I made a tremendous mistake. Shedeur, what I did was completely inexcusable, embarrassing, and shameful. I'm so sorry I took away from your moment. It was selfish and childish." His apology continued, "I could never imagine getting ready to celebrate one of the greatest moments of your life, and I made a terrible mistake and messed with that moment. Thank you for accepting my call earlier today. I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me. At Shedeur Sanders." Sanders, who the Cleveland Browns eventually selected in the 5th round on Saturday, addressed the prank during his first conference call with Cleveland area reporters. His response was measured but contained a clear rebuke. "Didn't really have an impact on me," Sanders said, "because it was just like, I don't feed into negativity, or I don't feed into that stuff. You've seen on Deion Sanders Jr.'s YouTube video my reaction to it. It is what it is." He continued with a subtle yet pointed critique. "I think, of course, it is childish. Of course, I feel like it was a childish act, but everybody does childish things here and there." This carefully worded response has been widely interpreted as Sanders taking the high road while still clearly condemning the immature behavior that targeted him during one of the most important moments of his career. Many people are now calling for Jeff Ulbrich to face consequences, even though the Falcons are trying to protect him. On social media, fans were angry, with one saying, "They need to fire Jeff Ulbrich instantly if the number came from him. How embarrassing." Still, reports say the Falcons won't punish the longtime coach, which has made fans even more upset. In a statement shared by the Steve Harvey Morning Show, Jeff Ulbrich said the prank doesn't reflect the values he taught his family. He apologized for his son's actions and said they understand how important the draft is for players like Sanders. The Falcons' official statement emphasized that they do not condone this behavior and sent their sincerest apologies to Sanders and his family. The team also claimed to have facilitated an apology from Jax to the Sanders family and stated they have been in contact with the NFL regarding the incident. "We have also been in contact with the NFL and will continue to cooperate fully with any inquiries we may receive from the NFL League office," the statement noted. "We are thoroughly reviewing all protocols and updating, if necessary, to help prevent an incident like this from happening again." The situation is particularly awkward given the Sanders family's connection to the Falcons organization. Shedeur's father, Pro Football Hall of Famer Deion Sanders, began his illustrious NFL career with the Atlanta Falcons before going on to become one of the greatest cornerbacks in league history. Deion now serves as the head coach at Colorado, where Shedeur played quarterback. All of this happened just as Jeff Ulbrich should be celebrating. The Falcons had a strong draft focused on defense, picking 4 defensive players early, including Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr. Ulbrich, who briefly led the New York Jets last season, was recently hired back to Atlanta as a coach. While Shedeur Sanders prepares to begin his NFL journey with the Cleveland Browns, his brother Shedeur Sanders, who was not selected in the draft, has signed a contract with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as an undrafted free agent on Saturday, April 26th. Their father, Deion Sanders, reacted to his son's joining the NFL with a simple message: "God is good." The incident serves as a stark reminder of the intense pressure and emotional roller coaster that draft prospects face during one of the most significant moments of their careers. Sanders' fall in the draft was already a major storyline, with the quarterback once projected as a potential top 5 pick, ultimately waiting until the 5th round to hear his name called. Despite the additional stress caused by the prank call, Sanders has demonstrated remarkable composure throughout the ordeal. His handling of this situation has already shown the maturity and poise that the Cleveland Browns will undoubtedly appreciate as he transitions to professional football. The implications of this incident extend beyond just the individuals involved, raising serious questions about data security during the NFL draft process and the consequences for those who misuse confidential information. As the league and the Falcons continue their investigation, many are watching closely to see if further action will be taken against all parties responsible for this unprecedented breach of draft protocol.
The College Football Hall of Famer and former star wide receiver for Oklahoma State arrested over the weekend. Justin Blackmon was arrested early Saturday morning near the OSU campus for public.
Justin Blackmon, once a college football legend, now making headlines for a shocking new reason. Just weeks after being celebrated for his achievements, he's found himself at the center of yet another troubling incident. Let's take a closer look. The story began at Oklahoma State University, where campus police responded to a call about an intoxicated man lying on the ground near the Edmund Lowe Library. By the time Officer Justin Hart arrived, the man had walked into the Nancy Randolph Davis building. The officer later confirmed this individual was Justin Blackmon, the former Oklahoma State football star. Hart reported finding Blackmon unsteady on his feet with an odor of an alcoholic beverage on his breath and person. According to police records, Blackmon's speech was slurred and confusing as he repeatedly told officers his home was Stillwater prior to his arrest at 2:17 a.m. He was subsequently booked and processed at the Payne County Jail, though records listed Ardmore as his hometown.
Responding officers say that he had slurred and confused speech, that he told them that he was walking home but refused to give them a valid address. This is the latest in a line of arrests, including multiple DUI charges.
The incident details revealed more troubling aspects of the arrest. Blackmon was reportedly wearing wet clothes, and officers struggled to manage the former NFL wide receiver during transport. The police report obtained by TMZ Sports stated officers were unable to fit Blackmon in the back of a standard police car due to his body size and had to request a larger vehicle to take him to jail. The report indicated that officers needed 2 sets of handcuffs because of Blackmon's body size and the girth of his wrists. His booking information listed him at 230 pounds, which is 20 pounds above his NFL playing weight, according to Pro Football Reference. The series of events began when Oklahoma State Police received a call about a larger black male lying on the ground at 1:32 a.m. Saturday. When officers encountered Blackmon, they noticed him wobbling and detected the smell of alcohol. He reportedly told them he was attempting to walk home, but officers noted his speech was difficult to understand. Blackmon reportedly kept informing officers he was headed to Stillwater. When they explained that Stillwater was a place rather than a specific address, he admitted he didn't live in the area, saying, "You got me." The former football star then turned around and placed his hands on his back before being told he was under arrest. This public intoxication charge carries potential penalties of up to $100 in fines or imprisonment of up to 30 days, or both, according to Oklahoma.gov. Blackmon has since been released from jail and could not be reached for comment on the incident.
On a possession, and Barry, he is currently suspended indefinitely by the NFL under the substance abuse policy. I can't imagine this bodes well for his chances to play anytime soon for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The arrest comes at a particularly unfortunate time for the 35-year-old former wide receiver. Just last month, Oklahoma State University had announced Blackmon would be inducted into the OSU Ring of Honor this fall. This recognition was to celebrate his remarkable collegiate career, where he became the only player to win the Biletnikoff Award twice as college football's best receiver during his time with the Cowboys from 2009 to 2011.
What I like about him, he's a coach on the field, and the game's never too big for him, and he's always in control.
To the end zone, it is caught, and it's inbounds.
But wait, there is more.